We'll get started in just a couple minutes. Just going to wait and see who else shows up. How many people have been tuning in otherwise? Just a couple?
Tuning in other days, you said?
Yeah.
Depends on the day. Sometimes it can be 2 to 4 or 5.
Okay. We're just going to wait one more minute here and we will get started. If you can turn your camera on, would be really awesome. Talking. Otherwise, I'm just going to have a private conversation here with Emily.
Is my camera showing that it's off?
There you are. Now I got 2 people.
I was gonna say, I can see 2 more.
I was gonna say she was showing mine was on the whole time.
Oh, that was funny. Mine was only showing Emily. Okay, hi. Thanks,
Hey.
everybody. Yay, that makes me really excited.
You can see me too, right?
I got you all now.
Okay, I had to reload it too, so I don't know, maybe Zoom was being funky or something for a minute.
Well, it's also not letting me share my screen, so it's awesome. It's all awesome. We're gonna roll with this. We got one more person joining us. Do you guys all have your packets? Yes, no?
I think they've been emailing what we need on the day, but I don't think any of us have a full pack. Maybe it's just
I
me.
don't have a full packet. Mara's just been sending it.
But you have today's packet. You have today's.
I'm gonna send it to them real quick.
Okay, just kidding. You're gonna have it here in a minute.
Yes. Sorry, my computer crashed as soon as I was trying to get on, which I love for me. So I will send today's. Okay. Let's start. You guys haven't done accountability check-in yet, right?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Mitch, you want to get started?
Yeah, just still working on that appointment. We had to shuffle it around a little bit. He was out of town, so just trying to lock that in for this week and trying to get an open house for this weekend and just trying to do as much in-person interaction as I can because I feel like that's where I'm strongest at.
Well, Lynn, great job. Lori, great to see you on. You want to update us?
I'm just continuing talking to people in person. But I'm doing an open house. I did a shadow open house last Saturday, so now I'm doing my first open house. I'm doing one for Ashley Force.
Awesome.
So I'm hoping it's going to be a big one. It's one listed off Shasta View Drive, so it's a pretty big house, but I feel really good about it. And Ashley was a really good mentor when I shadowed her Saturday.
Great.
So I'm really looking forward to it and networking and just getting as many contacts as I can through that.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, she's wonderful. I'm glad you jumped on those because I saw she had a whole horde of a list that needed to be covered. Chambers, how are you?
I'm doing good. I have an open house on Saturday, and then I was working on like social media last weekend.
Great. Awesome. I'm excited for our social media panel on Thursday too. Emily, what about you?
I got all of my contact cards in the mail this morning.
Great.
So I think I sent out 80 or more. So that's a good start.
That is good.
And let's see, I have no open houses on the future, but I'm trying to focus. I know I keep saying this, but we are so far out. I notice lots of houses with real estate agents that are not local. And so I'm going to try to kind of go after that Yesterday in the class, they were talking about getting mailings based on certain criteria. So I've reached out to our local title company to see if they can put that together, or we can get in touch with, what was his name? Cam yesterday
Yeah.
about doing mailers
Excellent. Yes.
to the local residents.
He can definitely help with that as well. That's great. Okay, did I get everyone? I believe so. I can walk back over to my other computer so I can mail you guys these material as well. Uh, okay, so today we have Jen. Jen Singer has been a part of the Keller Williams family since 2004. She
I'm really old.
No. She isn't just passionate about helping families find their next home. Jen has a passion for all things education, as she believes that education is the key to getting to your next step. After serving as a high school teacher and DECA advisor for many years, she now spends her time serving on local school board committees, part of the leadership team for the highly esteemed Leadership Lake Oswego PTSO president, as well as on the board for her favorite summer camp. If it has to do with opportunities for children or education, you will find Jen there. So, what better place to be than talking to you guys about furthering your education and making community relationships and generating those leads. So, really excited to have her. Make sure, if you can, you have your cameras on, you ask questions and engage as much as possible to get the most out of today. Thanks, Jen.
Should we do it?
Yep, go for it.
All right, let's do it. Like Mara said, I'm Jen Singer. I'm gonna pretend this isn't being recorded because I will often go off scripts. Mara's not listening. She didn't hear any of that.
No, I
and-
love that about this. Don't ever worry about that at all.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna go off script because I think that real world gets in the way of what's in a packet. And I think you guys can read the packets at your own time as well. So we're gonna go through it, don't get me wrong. But you'll notice that we stray a little bit. Just so I have an idea, are you all brand new to real estate? Mitch, you too?
Yeah, me too.
Okay, right on. Okay, so brand new to real estate. And I'm guessing, have anybody closed a deal? Does anybody have anything pending? Okay, so this is where the question of where does your next deal come from? And 20 some years in the business, and I'm going to tell you that question never goes away. So where does your next deal come from? Where do you find the next lead? What's the difference between a lead and your database is a big deal for me. So we're going to talk about those things. Did she get you guys the packets? Not yet.
It looks like mine just came in.
Okay, cool.
I got
Okay, so we're gonna pop between some of this, but there's some really big things that come around with lead generation and how we feel about it. I'm gonna read you guys a couple of fears or myths, and I want to know if they make sense to you or if they resonate with you. I think lead generation is really difficult. Does that resonate? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I would say so far.
Okay. I don't have time to lead generate. That becomes what the issue becomes once you're busy. That becomes the issue. And that's why a lot of people have business. I don't know, have you guys seen the graph of how realtors go? Feast or famine, that you either are super busy and have clients or you have no clients. And then you're super busy because you had time to lead generate again. So the biggest thing for you guys to work on is how do you have consistent lead generating? You want to be creating things. That are automatic and that you can kind of work on their own. Is where we want to get you to, so that there's always lead generating and it's not always people intensive. What about I don't know what to say to people? Does that one get anybody?
I would
Sometimes
say yes to that.
What, Emily?
And I'm scared to say the wrong thing. Like, is that something I can tell them? Is that like wrong legally? So that's probably my biggest thing.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm going to teach you the best line someone ever taught me, and I really wish I could credit somebody who remember who it was. That's a really great question. I'm going to get back to you by when. That's a really great question. I'm going to get back to you by when. That is my favorite thing to say when I don't know what to say. So I'm selling my first literally 21 years, and I've never sold a commercial building. And I'm selling my first commercial building, and I think I've said like 50 times. It's a really great question. Let me find that out, and I'll get back to you before 4 o'clock.
And honestly, for me, I feel like in my mind, there's always been this preconceived idea that real estate agents can be kind of snobby or arrogant, and they know everything. So if I was dealing with somebody that said, I really don't know, but I'm going to find out, instead of being a know-it-all, I think I would appreciate that and respect that more than someone that acted like they were faking through the answer and it was a total obvious lie.
I think that there's things you have to know, right? Like you have to know how to, you have to understand the contract, right? You have to understand the contract in regards to what legally is your job and what are you doing for them. So you have to understand the contract. You are not, I am not an expert in home inspections. I am not an expert in lending. I am not an expert in appraisals, right? I have been around long enough that I'm pretty dangerous in all of those items, but I'm not the expert. And so when it falls outside of your expertise, for you to say, I'm going to call the home inspector and get that answer, or I'm going to call your lender and make sure I'm giving you the right information based upon your loan, right? That's where you're doing them a service, right? Now I can look at a roof and probably tell you 10 things that are wrong with it, but I'm not going to tell you the 11th because I have no idea, right? So I will actually tell you one of the best things you can do to build your self-confidence is not open houses. Open houses are great for leads. The best thing you can do to build your self-confidence in what to say is to go sit someone's home inspection. Because if you spend time 2 hours with a home inspector, you will know when you walk up to the front door, oh, that's dry rot right there. Oh, that chimney is going to need, I'm going to need a chimney person. Oh, that's da-da-da. Like you're going to know these things. When someone says to you, what kind of siding is that? You're going to know what kind of siding it is, because that's something that for the most part you should know. There's really 3 types. But until you go through some home inspections or study that stuff on your own, you don't know it. But you should know what kind, when someone's like, oh, is that good siding? I don't know. Let me look the listing to see what kind of siding it is, right?
So here's one of those questions. My husband has his contractor's license. And so I did show a listing to just a friend. So it was super casual and it was great because I had no clue. I'd never done it before. I was so proud when I got the front door unlocked with the stupid app. So we all went, my whole family went because we know him. And it was great because my husband was there and was kind of like, oh, that's this, and that. Is that something that he can do with me on a listing? Or is that kind of one of those no?
I mean, he could. I don't think it makes you look, I don't think it makes it look as professional.
No, just like when I'm first starting out, if it was a situation where it was a good friend that I was working with, that's not against for him to come with me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Not on a regular basis.
He can come. The other thing I would do is I would have, I don't know what your notebook looks like or what you use. I have a spiral notebook that's literally my life. I go through these. I then put a little sticker on the front that has the dates that it was for, and I file it away and I pull out another one. You should have a page in a notebook that is literally questions I've been asked, right? Questions I've been asked. And when you get back in the car after a showing, after an open house, or after an inspection, you write down what questions were asked of you. You should never not know that answer again. Right? Because if that person asks, the next person's gonna ask. So when I say what kind of siding is that, it's one of the most common questions of like, oh, is that siding good? Is that siding fine? Right? So you should, once somebody's asked you that, now you know the 3 most common types of sidings. Right? And
Yep.
so that's how you start building, to go back to your I don't know what to say, or I don't have the confidence, or I think I'm going to be wrong. That's how you start building that library
Mhm.
of what you need to say to be confident.
That makes
Good.
sense. I bought a little notebook the other day for questions. I shadowed Jim Peterson on an open house, and he had one. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So I bought one. So it's probably like what you're talking about.
Yep. I mean, it's also the thing of when somebody says, oh, that's a cool house, I'd love to see more like that, you jot it down. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember anything once I get back in the car. So we're still on page 1. Those are some of the fears and the myths. And the biggest thing is that when you start looking at what is it you're afraid of, and you can identify what you are afraid of, is when you can start to build the confidence, because that's the biggest reason why people don't lead generate. They're afraid to make a call. They're afraid to show a house. They're afraid to sit in open house. And you don't have to call it fear. You can call it whatever you want. None of us want to be embarrassed. None of us want to not have the answer, right? So those are the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to do a little exercise where we want to talk about how much business do you potentially already have? Because you guys have your thing of, oh, I have 1 person who might buy a house. I have 2 people who might buy in the next 12 months, right? You guys all have gone through and thought that over of who might be your next client. What I want you to do is I want you to take out your phone. And if you go to your contacts, and I'm an iPhone person, I know there's a way to do this on Android too. And you scroll all the way to the very, very bottom of your contacts. There should be a number right there. Does anybody have more than 1,000? What I want you to do is I want you to write that number down. This is in your workbook too. This is one of my favorite activities, page 5.4. But you're going to write that number down. You're then going to open up the calculator on your phone. And you're going to multiply that by 0.081. It is said that every person knows 8 people that are buying or selling in 1 year. So when you do this little math, did anybody get the number 20? 20 or higher?
I got 21.
I got
21. So you have potential. These are the potential referrals that are sitting in your database. If you were to do lead generation correctly through your sphere of influence. Okay. So if you take that number and you multiply that by, I'm going to say 8,000, which is probably your average commission for a starting agent. That's the income opportunity that you have sitting just in your phone if you were to do lead generation correctly. Is that enough to get you through the year? Because I'll tell you that my number is 101. I can also tell you that my average commission is $14,000. Okay. So until I start selling 101 houses a year, I still have room in my own database to be getting more referrals and more clients. What's the aha with that exercise?
I have a question about it. So I would say 75% of my contacts are from Northern California. I mean, so is there like a,
You know that those are my favorite people. So what you do, what you need to, I'm not joking. What you need to do is, what city in Northern California?
pretty much all over Humboldt County?
Okay, so you need to find 2 agents, 2 realtors in that area, and you want to work your rear off. These are my favorite people, I'm telling you. You want to work your rear off to be marketing to those people, telling them that although you don't live there anymore, that you still have amazing connections, and that the best thing they could do is talk to you before they buy or sell a home. You're going to refer them to an agent down there, and you're going to make a 25% referral fee without ever getting out of bed. It is my those are my favorite people, are my out-of-state people. I love not getting out of bed and getting a paycheck.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you don't want to miss those. It's a different marketing campaign, but it might actually be your fastest money because those people already know you, like you, and trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably make $40,000 a year on referrals around the country.
Gotcha. And I know one friend that I was pretty good friends with that is a realtor, so that could be one.
Make sure that they, just because they're your friend, make sure that they're who your people would know, like, and trust also.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I have people that I think are super cool that I'm like, we don't do business the same way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you need somebody, you can also throw something in the distribution list for our office and see if somebody has a referral in that area. But I mean, that's the best. I call that free money, and I like free money. Other questions on that for people, or ahas from that? Okay. So that should be pretty interesting because it's telling you, the reason for this exercise is it's just showing you that you have people who will buy, sell, or know somebody who will. Okay. We're going to go to page 5 in your workbook if you have it open or can open it. I just want to show you what the difference of a lead and a contact are. Okay. So you're going to go to an open house, you're going to meet somebody at a networking event, you're going to do something, and you're going to have captured them. They're going to go into your database, your CRM, whatever you're using. I'm assuming most of you are using Command. Are you guys using Command? Okay, good. Don't ask me questions on it. I don't use it. It is really good, but it was not really good when I started using what I use now. And now I'm too lazy to convert. Okay, so you're going to capture them. They're going to go into your database. At that moment, they're one of 2 things. They are either a lead or they are a contact. Okay, leads don't work with us until they become a contact. That might take 10 seconds. That might take 2 years. But a contact is someone who knows you, likes you, and trusts you. A lead is somebody who's talking to you. Understand the difference? I have almost 8,000 people in my database. Okay, those are leads. I then have a separate database that has 179 people, and those are my contacts. So I'm working on the thousands, and I'm over here cultivating my contacts because they keep pumping out referrals for me.
And you said the contacts was someone that knows you, trusts you, likes you.
Yeah, they have a relationship with you. And it might have just been at an open house and something really clicked, which is why I say it might just take 5 minutes. But it's not somebody the person who clicked on your link on a Facebook ad, those are leads. You have to do something with the lead, which is where the bottom of that funnel turns into the prepare contacts for conversion. They need interactive and need-based offerings. Then they're going to send you new and repeat people, and it's going to this referral thing, and it's just going to keep filling up this pipeline. I don't know if we just got bumped out. For the person who just entered, can you put a name on your Zoom? Thank you. Or turn on your camera. That works too. So yeah, so that's the thing I want you to look at. I want you to think about who's in your database, and are they leads or are they contacts? Okay. So when you look through your phone and you start thinking about that, are they people that would know you if you passed them on the street? Are they people that that know anything about you? So the other difference between a lead and a prospect, a lead and a contact, is how you got them. Okay. So we have what's called prospecting, and then we have marketing. Does anybody know the difference? Okay. So you have two things in all sales. You have time or you have money. I mean, you can have both, but you have time and you have money, right? You have these two buckets. Which bucket do you want to pull in? From most people starting in real estate, they have the time, right? We don't want to be dumping a bunch of money into something until we've gotten more money to replenish it. So you have time or you have money. So prospecting is time intensive. It takes a person. It takes communication. And there are very immediate results to this, which is why we say that if you pick up the phone and call people and build that relationship, or go to coffee with people and ask them if they have any real estate goals for 2025 or going into 2026, you're going to see immediate results, because someone's going to tell you, you know, we're not actually doing anything, but my sister wants to buy this year. My sister's getting married, and I'm guessing her and her fiance are going to need to buy a house. Oh, my brother's kids are going off to college and their house is huge, right? So you've got these things that you want to think about. Prospecting, time intensive, proactive, and immediate results. Marketing, on the other side, is money intensive. It's passive and it takes a long time. This is things like Facebook ads. This is starting an Instagram channel, or Instagram. This is starting a YouTube channel. These are things that you're going to be working on that have long-term results. People would not recognize you if you walked by them on the street. Okay. So you want to think about which method do you want to use? And the answer eventually will be both. The answer right now is probably prospecting. Getting toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye, face-to-face with people so that you can have more immediate results, right? If you guys open up your packets to page, I guess it's page, hold on, I'm in a different packet than you guys are. If you open up to page 7, this is the other way that I love describing leads and contacts. Leads are people who you have earned the right to at least a one-way conversation with. This is someone who opted into something, someone who gave you their information. They may never respond, but they gave you permission to talk to them. Contacts are people that you have a two-way conversation with, who you've established a value-based relationship with. So you want to think about how can you touch these people? We call it 36 touch or 50 touch or 72 touch, whatever you want to use for your program. But how do you reach out to these people? How do you make that value-based relationship? Can we all agree that we want to start with contacts and prospecting? Can we spend our time on prospecting and contacts and not just free leads, or not free leads, but random people? Okay, so we're going to talk pretty extensively about the prospecting. This is going to be your phone calls, your emails, a text message, face-to-face meetings, handwritten notes, a client get-together or a party. This is going to be voice to voice. How do you get a response from somebody? Bless you. How do you get a response from somebody? Okay. Is there one of those that you have confusion about what you would say or do or call or talk about? Do you want me to give some suggestions? Give some pointers on those?
Are you saying what are we are we
Like if you were making phone calls, do you know what you would call and say?
gotcha.
If you were doing emails, do you know what you would be sending out?
Like I wrote out, I had it printed because I didn't want to necessarily handwrite 100 cards. So I did it in like a print font, but it just basically, here's who I am in case you haven't heard or seen my Facebook post, please keep me in mind. And then I stuck in a business card. So is that kind of like what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So here's my question to you. People want to help people that help people or that help them. So my question whenever I send anything out is what's in it for them? What's in it for them? And if you are always coming from what's in it for them, you're going to get responses.
So what's the motivation for them sharing my information? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Right? So there's nothing wrong with what you said. There's nothing wrong with what you said. That's your first one.
Oh, okay.
No,
Is
there's
that
nothing wrong with
totally
what
wrong
you
to
said.
do?
Like you've now introduced yourself, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you want to build a presence, the question is, what do you know? What are you going to share with me? What are you going to teach me? How are you going to help me? How are you going to better our community? What are you going to bring into my world? Right? We want people that, I mean, don't get me wrong, your family or your best friend is going to help you anyway. But this is the next level of people. Those people who are like, oh, that's cool. Emily's in real estate. And unless you remind them or explain to them how good you are or how much you know, what's in it for them, they will forget because they already know 4 other realtors.
Gotcha.
Right? So you want to think about that you want to think about, that doorbell's really loud. That you want to think about what can you say or what can you do? So there's a couple different things. I use phone calls to set up appointments, right? So, hey, wondering if you had time next week to go grab coffee, 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Even if they say no to the time that you had available, you can either move them to the next week, or you still have opened the door to have a conversation, right? So I would go through, if I were in your guys' shoes at this moment, I would go through and I pick my top 100 people and I would almost put them in order of who I think are going to be my biggest advocates. right? I have a sister who I have sold her 5 houses and she has never sent me a referral. She's just not a referring type of person. She doesn't talk about what restaurants she goes to eat at. She couldn't recommend a movie if she had to save her life. She doesn't refer people. My sister, people are like, oh, but she's family. And I'm like, she's not in my top 100. She will always use me as her realtor. She will make one Facebook post after I help her buy or sell a house. Oh my God, my sister helped me find the best house. Da, da, da. Crickets after that. So you want to think about, this is not who is your best friend. Your best friend's brother might be a realtor. This is truly when you think about your friends, I'll give you an example. So if you were to ask me what I did this weekend, this for Memorial Day, I'd be like, oh my God, we went to the beach. And on the way to the beach, we stopped and we went strawberry picking at the coolest strawberry patch. Right? I'd probably tell you all about it. I'd tell you where it is. I'd tell you how much it was. I would tell you that we had the best time and that we ate so many strawberries. If you ask my sister what she did for the weekend, she'd say, oh, we went down to the coast. But she came berry picking with us. Right? Like, she's just not that person. You want to think about the people that when you say, what'd you do for dinner last night? Or what'd you do for dinner over the weekend? And you know they went to some restaurant, that they want to brag about the restaurant. There are people who are natural referrers and there are people who are not. Raise your hand if you're somebody who refers people. Like without being asked, do you be like, oh my God, you guys have to see the best movie? Are any of you guys refers? Okay. Can any of you think of a friend of yours who you're like, I don't even know if they like movies. I don't even know if they go out to eat. Right? Because it's not natural. It doesn't mean they're not going to use you, but they are not they would not be in my top 15 people. And they might be your very best friend or your sister. Right? So you want to think about that. So I would take my top 100. I would put them in a list and I would literally rank them from 1 to 100. Okay. I would start at the top of that list and I would make a phone call and I would try and set up 2 to 3 coffees a week. You can even do them almost back to back, 10 to 10:30, 11 to 11:30, 12 to 12:30, so that you don't actually run into the next person who's coming to meet you. You could do 3 in one day, right? You're just going to sit there and sip your tea. And so you're going to try and set those up. Gosh, I would love to get together for coffee and tell you all about my job change, all about my career change, and hear how you and your family are doing as well. I've got some time next Tuesday. I know it's a busy day. Would you be available at 10 o'clock? If 10 doesn't work, we could also do 11. Okay. And they're either going to say yes or no. If they say yes, end the call so that you can save everything for the following week. If they say no, say, do you have a minute now? Who answered the phone? Hopefully they have a minute. How are you guys? What's new in your world? And then any good person, when someone says, how are you? What do they say back? How are you? Right? They ask it back, but that's what we do. That's what we should do. And you get to say, I'm good. It's like, I'm having the best time learning and it all has to be positive. Because if you sound like it's overwhelming, or you sound like you're unsure, you're like, oh, there's a lot to learn. All of a sudden they go, he's not ready to help me. Okay. I have a very good friend of mine who didn't buy a house with me. And it was during the pandemic and I had 11 houses pending at one time. And we had sat outside 6 feet apart in the back of our cars in a Safeway parking lot. And all I did was complain about how busy I was. And I did not know that they wanted to buy a mountain house. And when I found out that she was pending on a mountain house, I was like, are you kidding me? She's like, you sat there and told me you're exhausted and totally overwhelmed. I'm not going to throw something else on you. Right? And she's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't think you wanted more business. My bad. Right? So that's the same thing. When you say to somebody, oh my gosh, I'm having the best time learning all there is to know about real estate and how to really help my clients. That's a very different answer than I'm drinking from a fire hose with how much there is to learn about real estate. Right? So your words matter. So that can be a phone call, that can be an email. When you're sending out an email, you want to be a neighborhood expert, right? You want people to know that you know things about where you're located. And so so I'm located in Lake Oswego, Oregon, just outside of Portland, for those of you who aren't from here. It is a very small town. We have 40,000 people. What are my messaging? My messaging is about the 4th of July parade that's coming up in Lake Oswego. My messaging is about the farmers market that opened up, that came back for the season. It's about end of school. It's about when you can sign up for summer camps in our area. So are you being a resource for your area? And maybe your area is bigger than that. So before I lived in Lake Oswego, I lived in Portland, and I would send out something with all the farmers markets on it, right? No matter what part of town you live in, here's your local farmers market. Go support them as they've just started up for the season. Right? And that doesn't have to be what you do. That's very much who I am. We're at the farmers market almost every Saturday. What are you giving them that tells them you are an expert? When the seasons change, here's a little random tidbit, and I'm going to get it wrong. A ceiling fan, when it goes one way, makes your house warmer, and a ceiling fan, when it goes the other way, it makes it cooler. And I always have to look up which one's which. But that little tip, if you sent that out today on an 80-degree day, hey, remember your ceiling, before you turn on your AC, your ceiling fan might be all you need right now. All of a sudden, they're like, no shit. Oh, sorry. How'd she know that? Right? Sorry, I swear a lot. These calls are really hard for me. That's that kind of thing that all of a sudden you look like an expert. When winter's coming and you can tell people, hey, don't forget to take your hose off, drain the hose of water, and turn off your outside plumbing, potentially could save you a lot of money in broken pipes. And people are like, thanks for the home reminder. Right? Now's a really good time to change an air filter before we start pumping on air conditionings and cooling our houses. Change your air filter. So those are the kinds of text messages or emails that you can send out to people to make them want to know, what else is he going to teach me next week? What's he going to teach me the next week? Is that helpful at all? Okay.
And I think we've discussed it before. I can't remember the exacts, but like if you have a personal Facebook page versus a business one. So these are things that you're talking about posting on your personal, like
Yep.
if you're talking about a Facebook post.
A business page is dumb. I'm sorry if someone else gave you other opinions. How many of you guys go look at a business page? Nobody. I have a business page, so don't get me wrong. I have a business page. Nobody's looking at my business page. But everybody came to see what Jen Singer had to say. So you can post it on both. But this is the stuff where all of a sudden you start sharing stuff that matters. Right? Okay. Good.
Yes, I feel like people are more interested in your personal life than your business page.
For sure. I mean, they just don't. They go onto social media for what we think is connection, not for business. which is why you will never see, if any of you start following me or pay attention to my stuff, you will never, I mean, yes, every time we sell a house, we put up what we call a red boat picture, because that's what we do. I don't share most of them on my personal page, but I share a heck of a lot of other stuff. But the stuff that I show is me touring $1 million home. Want to see what $1 million could buy you today? Or I point out funny things that, like, hey, while showing houses today, you ever seen one of these? Because what I'm doing is I'm reminding people I'm in real estate. I'm not bragging. Nobody cares. This is why when I started in real estate in 2004, you had to put your picture on your business card. Everybody did it. You had to put your picture on a business card. Nobody cares what you look like and who you are. They want to know what you can do for them. They want to know that you are the best realtor to help them through this really stressful and expensive situation. So what do you know? What do you have? How do you give? That's the question. That's 100% the question is what's in it for them. And if you think about it, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for us for anything, right? And it's not selfish. It's just human nature, unless they're like really your people. But we're going to move on to an exercise because I'm going to tell you how many people you don't have in your database that should be there. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at, where are we? Okay. I want you to look at page 9. So I'm guessing that you could all put down, we can either do this exercise or I can walk you through it. But if we don't do it together, I want you to do it later because I promise you there are people you are missing. So who's your immediate family? You can do them in 2 different colors. You can do them in 3 different colors. You can do them however you want. I would do one that are local. I would do ones that aren't local. And you can do ones that are refers, right? I have an aunt who literally you can't go 10 minutes without being introduced to someone else. And then there's my sister. So who's the immediate family that you need in your database? The bigger your database, it was in the packet that Mara sent out. You can send Mara a quick email or a text and she will get it right over to you. Unless it's already in your email, but it might be. So immediate family would be the first one, right? Then you have friends. Then you have relatives further out than the immediate family. Then you have neighbors. If you don't have anybody in your, this is already being recorded. If you don't know your neighbors, that should be your challenge for the next few weeks while you're working in your yard in an attempt to meet them. I will tell you there's nothing worse than having your neighbor put up a for sale sign that does not have your name on it. You have to drive by it and look at it every single stupid day because your neighbor didn't know that you were a realtor.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So I live in an area where it's like 5-acre parcels or larger. So we're not like, it's not like a subdivision or a suburb. So, cause I'm just outside of Grants Pass. Would you recommend like mailers? Cause I was going to get the neighborhood, mailing addresses, but I was also thinking about just door knocking.
I don't see anything wrong with door knocking. I don't know your neighborhood, but is there something that would be of value that you could even leave behind? So a lot of times like people get, a lot of times people will, does anybody know who that Zoom user is that keeps popping on and off?
No.
You guys know who that is? Has he been at other stuff? This is like the 4th time that he's coming in.
Not that I've noticed.
I've never seen it on any of the classes.
Okay. It's like the 4th time that he's interrupted class. Okay, so a lot of times like 4th of July is a good one, or Flag Day is a good one. Do you have something that you can drop off? 4th of July is always fun because you can just buy sparklers and poppets and tie them together and just say, hey, just wanted to introduce myself and wish you guys a happy 4th of July.
Rather than just showing up and giving like a business card.
They don't care.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay. So yeah, you can definitely go knock on doors. You can mail a postcard that says, I don't just sell real, I'm not just a realtor, I'm also your neighbor. Is a good one. But there is nothing worse than driving by from experience and being like, I have to look at that stupid Remax sign every day. Okay. So neighbors are a good one. The answer to that can be yes. Alexander, I'll get to that in 1 second. So neighbors, this is all on this sheet. And I'm telling you that if you sat down and did this, you're going to end up with another 100 people. Then there is the question of past coworkers. Where did you come from? Where were you working prior to this? And who knows you to be responsible and intelligent and thoughtful, right? Who they already know you, like you, and trust you, hopefully. And so that becomes the question of adding them into your database as well. Number 6 is your hobbies and your sports groups. What do you do outside of work or family? Number 7 is teachers. If you have children, teachers are huge because they often know people move. They heard that a family's moving. One of the teachers yesterday at my daughter's school said, did you know Emily's moving? And I was like, nope, but I will be calling Emily tonight. Sorry, you guys, hold on 1 second. Can I just ask what your name is?
Sorry, I lost my internet. I didn't mean to upset your meeting.
No, you're good. I'm just like, who is this?
I'm Senia.
Senia, nice
I'm
to meet you.
new.
Nice to
I
meet you.
apologize.
You're good. You're good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Okay. So teachers is a big one. They know things. The school secretary, they know things. Make sure they know you are in real estate. Okay. Teachers give you an opportunity to sponsor things like the Teacher Appreciation Week, Back to School Week. There are many opportunities if you have children. There are many, many opportunities to engage with teachers. Do not discount your children's teachers. Number 8 is your worship, your club, your volunteer locations. Where are those and how many people can you think of from those? Professional services. These are lawyers. These are doctors. These are CPAs. These are who else would be in professional services? Almost anything. These are people who send you referrals. A financial planner. I get more business from my financial planner than probably anyone else, because people have too much money, and my financial planner loves real estate and says you should talk to Jen about buying an investment property. Okay, so who are the professional services? Financial and legal services, things like bankers, again, financial planners, any of those. Personal services. Is your hairstylist in your database? Yes or no? Because here's what I can tell you. I can't speak for the men on this call, but I can speak for the women. My hairstylist knew before my mother that I was pregnant. My hairstylist knew before my sister that I was engaged, right? these are things that they hear these. They hear when people are getting divorced. They hear when people are getting married. They know these things. And if your hairstylist or your nail person or your massage therapist, they know people and they hear things, become their person. Home and auto services, a roofer, your person at Les Schwab, the any of those people that you use for services. The Les Schwab people know I sell real estate because they make fun of my office all the time, right? Because my car is my office. Then they're like, busy day at the office, Jen? I'm like, busy week, right? There might be some wrappers on the floor. There's some RMLS sheets that have made their way to the floor and they're like, okay. Other real estate agents, Mitch, this one's like what I was talking about with you. Who are these other agents? I have a network of about 40 realtors that I communicate with often all over the country. And I like today I'm looking for somebody in Reno. And I'm really hoping somebody's going to give me a Reno contact. Anybody? Nobody? Nobody's giving me a Reno contact. I would love to be paid to connect two people and move on, right? So real estate agents are a big one. Real estate servicers, landscapers, staging companies, all of these are things that you need in your database. Did anybody come to mind that is not currently in your database? Yeah, this is an exercise that I go back and I probably do almost annually. Just every time I even teach this class, I'm like, oh, so-and-so should be put in my database. Oh, so-and-so should be put in my database. Okay. You support these businesses, they want to turn around and support you. The personal services or other, I don't care what topic you put it under. Do you have a restaurant that is your go-to restaurant? We have a restaurant down the street called Hop and Cork. Sunil, the owner, totally knows our family. He's dropped off food here when I was sick and my husband was out of town. Like if you have relationships, add them in even though they seem weird. Okay. And then you have to do this every single day. And if you look on the next page, build your SOI day by day. This is one of those things of what have you done today that you missed an opportunity to tell someone you were in real estate? How many of you went out for coffee today? Or Starbucks drive-through coffee? Oh, good job. Okay, one of us. I was like, good job. None of us did today. It's impressive if none of us have today. Did you drop your child off at school? Did you walk them to a bus stop? Did you not get a chance to talk to a neighbor? Did you walk the dog and pass other people? What, who, and where and when can you identify in your schedule that already exists where you're going to meet more people? I just added in my yoga person. I started a new yoga class and I just added in my yoga guy. Because he's amazing.
Hey Jen, sorry to interrupt you, but when you add people to your database, you add them to your like command database?
Yeah.
You would somehow get their email or just phone number?
So I will start with whatever I can get, right? I will start with whatever information I can get. So let's say that I just have a name and a phone number, right? But I start fostering a relationship via text message or over Facebook or whatever. And then I'm going to send, and then when I have something of value that you're going to email out, I say, hey, I've got this really cool local information that I wanted to send to you. Can I get your email? People don't usually say no.
I see. Because I was wondering, like, I have, some connects, but I only have phone numbers, but I just don't know what to say in a text message. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's the question of, you have to figure out what are you trying to do. So if you know what part of town they live in and you're hosting an open house, you can invite them to an open house. If you're trying to go out for coffee with them, you can text them and invite them to coffee. The other thing that's easy to do if you are, I will tell you, when I started in real estate, I had just left teaching. I was a high school teacher and I was broke. As broke as teachers are. I was broke and I was single, like all these things. My best events that I did that kicked my business off was, you know how there's free concerts in the park all
Yes.
summer long? There's concerts in the park. I picked a free concert in the park and I invited everyone in my database and I said, hey, I was like, come join Sold by Jen for an evening of music and wine. And I picked up like 10 bottles of wine and like 10, so I spent $100 and a bunch of plastic cups, right? And I prayed that people showed up. And I had over 100 people come. Right? I just picked a good concert in a good location in the town. I always picked something that if no one else showed up, that me and my bestie who I brought along with me, we're still going to have a good time. So I chose something like we were going to go to that concert anyway. Right. And so you can ask people to RSVP so you know how much to bring or how much space to save and how many blankets to bring. It's a pretty inexpensive event. And when you do an event, it gives you opportunities to reach out to people.
I see. But did you ask if you can serve alcohol? Before?
I knew where you can and can't.
Okay.
I knew which park you were allowed to. If you were 21, you were allowed to have wine.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very clear. But yeah, I mean, and maybe that's not what it is. Maybe it's come for maybe you're gonna bring popcorn and you're doing a movie in the park, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna, I mean, popcorn's usually provided at those. Maybe you're gonna bring the candy. And you can even advertise it as come get popcorn, and maybe you're gonna bring canned soda in a cooler, right? It's less about what you do and more about the invitation. So you do that and you can text every person to say, hey, I'm hosting a music in the park evening. Can I get your email? And then you can send out an invite. And then whether they show or they don't show, you could get to text them again and say, gosh, we really missed you. Hope you can make it to the next one.
I see. At the event, do you tell people or do you have your business card like on the table or something? Or
At an event?
Yeah.
I usually have an open house sign to like mark where we're sitting.
Oh, you mean at the park?
At the park, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'll put out like 2 of them and then I'll put blankets between them to like save a space, and then my clients all know where we're sitting.
I see.
I also had super cheap t-shirts printed up that had my logo on them. So I was wearing my shirt with the logo.
So people know that you are a realtor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's the other thing too. People like sit down and they're like, hey, can I have candy? And I would always make my best friend say it. She's like, I don't know. Do you have a realtor? These people are all here for Jen, who's our realtor, you know, and like you, like now I make my husband do stuff like that. I'm like, I can't be sassy, but you can. And so, yeah, I mean, and maybe it's 10 people that show up, but it's not about the number that show up as much as it is about how many times do you get to reach out to someone to tell them that you're doing this event as a community builder, as a way to get in front of your community and bring people together.
I see. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. What page am I on? I am on page 12. On page 12, there's a few things you need to do for lead generation for best practice. You have to track your lead sources. So anytime you get a lead, where did it come from? Because if you do 50 open houses and you have no leads from open houses, you either need to completely change your playbook and your game, or you need to stop doing open houses. It is not your lead source. Okay. I loved to host events. So my thing was that I was going to party my way to success, and I hosted all sorts of parties. I hosted a Kentucky Derby party. I hosted a Super Bowl party. I hosted a concert in the park. I hosted shaved ice on the last week of school. Like, I loved hosting parties because I could get in and get out in one afternoon, and I've touched a whole bunch of people, and then I get to go hibernate for like 4 more weeks until I have to do it again. Right? So you have to figure out who you are. What do you look like? How does that work for you? But where did the lead source come from? Because if you're dumping money on Facebook ads, if you dump money on Facebook ads and you get no leads or convert no leads, that goes to number 2, which is audit your lead sources. Stop doing them. Or do more. Double down on it. If your coffee appointments are getting you referrals every time you have coffee, change that from 3 a week to 6 a week. Let's go, friends. Right? You want to figure out where's your best lead source. Diversify your database. That's a big one. There are people who used to work at Intel who are now realtors. So their whole database is Intel. So when Intel announces that they're going to do a bunch of layoffs, that person has no business. Same thing with our Nike friends, right? If your whole database is from one section and something happens to that section, there's no business. So diversify your database. You want people in all ages. You want people in all stages of life, and from all over. You have to be consistent, and you have to set aside time to do it.
Jen, sorry, another question. You said you love to hosting events like at school, at park. Like, do you host events at your own house? Invite your clients?
The answer to that has always been yes. We bought a house that has no parking.
Oh,
None. We live on a street that you're not allowed to park on. I think my husband did it to me intentionally without me thinking that one through very well. But I have a pie giveaway where I give away about 100 pies the Tuesday before Thanksgiving every year. And I hire a valet parker to move everyone's cars down to the church around the corner. I used to host a lot more at my house, but now the valet parking changes that. So yes, I have partnered with, I have a lender who I can use their building. I'll pay the $50 to the city of Lake Oswego to rent out one of their parks for 3 hours. You can find any like Lucky Lab will let you reserve some tables if you want to do something outside. I also do a lot of classes, is one of our events that we do. So like next Monday, Tuesday, we have a buyer's class. So we host a lot of things, and they can or don't have to be, they can be almost anywhere. Be creative.
thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? Are there any ahas happening?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God. So is any of this helpful? I've been talking for 1 hour and 8 minutes. Is any of this helpful?
I think this is the best one so far of all the classes.
Yes.
I agree.
Oh, sweet. For full disclosure, I am like this close to being a national Keller Williams instructor. And so this is why Mara's like, you can go off script, do whatever you want. I don't care.
That's not to discredit all the other ones because they were great too, but I feel like this is like the most informational.
It's
Or more so things I want to learn the most of, I guess you could say.
it's a fun topic, right? Like it's like there's no wrong way to lead generate except for not doing it. Right? So you can, I have a showing assistant on my team who does most of my showings for me. And Sam is completely introverted, doesn't love any of our parties. She's also significantly younger than I am. So I am going to be 52 and we have very different interests. I have a child, she does not. So we just have very different interests. And yet Sam has a good real estate business because Sam knows what Sam likes. So Sam likes one-on-one. Sam likes like dinner net. So she belongs to a dinner networking group. That sounds like death to me. I would cry if I was supposed to go meet people and sit there for a whole meal. It reminds me of dating, and I hated dating, right? But you want to take me to a craft, you want to put me at some craft experience and go rent out or go to the Hillsborough AR workshop place and go make something. I am all in and will talk to every person while I'm doing it, right? So this is where it's like, it doesn't matter what I do or what I've done. It's who are you? Because you want to meet people that you like. Those are the most fun people to work with, right? You're going to end up working with some people who aren't like you, and it's a really long transaction. And nobody wants that. And so doing what you love to do, she's on an adult soccer league, right? Because she loves doing it. And she's like, now it's a business expense. And so you have to figure out what are your things. If you're a huge Thorns fan or you're a huge Blazer fan, can you host some nights of games and hang out and watch the games, right? P.S. I sold one of the Blazers a house last year. It was really cool. It wasn't a really fancy house because it was just for his mom, but it was cool to work with him.
How did you get that lead?
What was that?
How did you get that lead?
How did I get the lead? I got the lead from a referral from an agent in Arizona that I'm really close with, and her husband is a sports agent, and they needed someone for the Blazers. Let's see if I can find my picture.
So that's the free money you were talking about.
Well, that's not the money, because that one I had to work. It's the other way. It's when I send them to Arizona, when I send someone the other way. When someone sends it my way, I'm doing the work, which again, I don't mind doing the work, but that person got $3,000 or $4,000 by literally shooting one email.
Nice.
Right? So it's like this little teeny email I was trying to find my picture, my cool picture of me with my Blazers. Oh, here it is. So cool.
Oh, wow.
So cool. Shade and sharp. And he can jump taller than I am. I'm only 5 feet. And he's like, I can actually single-boundedly leap over you. I was like, that's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, you have to think about who you are, what you do, what you like to do. Where can you put yourself to be vulnerable to find clients? Okay. I'm also going to tell you, you are never going to find a client sitting at your house or at the office. So the best thing you could do is at least go work in a coffee shop.
When you say coffee shop and you invite people for coffee, do you invite people that you just met like on one of those open houses, say, hey, you have time for coffee? Like, how does that work?
It can be if it depends on what rapport you built with them at the open house. But I'd love to walk you through the home buying process. Would you be available Tuesday to meet for coffee?
I see.
Right.
So it's all real estate related, not just like, hey.
Yeah, my top 100 are also some of my friends. So I always do the thing of like, hey, can you meet for coffee? And I'll say to them, I'm like, I need 6 minutes of real estate and then 54 minutes of just us hanging out. Right. Like, so they know that I have an intention also if it's somebody that I know.
I see. And do you ever do business with your close friends?
All of them. We laugh. So I had my 50th birthday a couple years ago, and I had 50 people in my backyard. And my husband was like, who here has not bought a house from Jen? And it was like, there might've been like 2 people. Yeah, I help all of them.
Like really, really close friends.
Like best friends. Yeah.
You know, I have some friends. I know that they are currently looking, but and I also know they're not going to use me because we're close friends, and they
You're
told
also brand new. You're also brand new. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure that all of my friends would have used me at the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have any credibility.
I am brand new, but I'm in the real estate for 8 years.
Oh.
Sorry. I got my license last year, but I'm in real estate for 8 years because I'm a real estate investor. So yeah, so they all know me. I think the reason why my husband told me that, well, I'm from a different culture. I'm from China, but most of my friends, they from Russia, Belarus, because my husband. And I think they are just like, they don't do business with friends. Or, there's a saying,
My husband's best friend won't do business with me.
okay, there's a saying like never do business with friends. And they just stuck with them, like that idea.
But you can also say to them, like, I know you don't want to do business with me, but can I please refer you to somebody who is going to have your back and take care of you?
Uh-huh.
And then you can send them to somebody, still get a referral, and know that they're taken care of.
I see. Just get that 25%. But
Yeah, and it's not just so you know that 25% isn't greedy. It's not about like, oh, I want to be paid off my friends.
Mhm.
It's that I actually could tell you in Portland, if you were not going to use me as your realtor,
Mhm.
please let me give you one of 5 other people who I would trust with my own family.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can also tell you that there's a lot of crappy realtors. So please don't just leave it up to chance. Can I please connect you with somebody who will take good care of you?
And that person won't just tell my friend like I'm getting a 25%.
No, none of we never talk about that.
Okay.
We never talk about that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that it's very much a, I want people like, so when I meet somebody and they're like, oh, we're buying, like somebody from my daughter's school, it's like always buying a house. And they're like, hey, Jen, can I ask you a question? And I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah. And they're like, so we haven't asked our realtor. And I'm like, why am I helping you? So I'll always say to them, I'm like, who's your realtor?
Mhm.
And they'll tell me, and I'm like, oh, you're in really good hands. Ask them.
Mhm.
Or they'll say so-and-so. And I'm like, I can't really step in at this point.
Uh-huh.
You're going to need to ask them, but let me know what their answer is. And I'll tell you if I agree.
Mhm.
Right? It's not, there are bad agents, and I don't want people working with bad agents. And
Yeah.
I believe that I'm the best agent in Portland,
Mhm.
but I believe that there's 200 of us that are great, but I know 4 or 5 other people who, if my family used them, I would be like, they're in good hands. They're being taken care of.
Mhm.
And that's coming from a place of helping, right? That's not about greed or me needing a paycheck or any of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you sit down to lead generate, you have to do a few things. Number 1, you have to avoid distractions. When I lead generate, I take my watch off. I literally have to take my watch off because otherwise I am distracted by whatever that buzz is next, right? What do you have to do to avoid distractions? Where do you have to be sitting? Where do you have to go to do that, to not have distractions? I have to walk my dog prior to all of that so that I know that I can have an hour or 2 of peace and quiet without being attacked, right? Provisions. What provisions do you need? So before I taught class, I got my smoothie, I got my drink, right? What do I have to put here? Because what happens when I go into the kitchen? I see 4 other things that I can do, should do, might do. I also might stop for a snack, and then all of a sudden 15 minutes gone, right? So what provisions do you need to have in place? The other one is like your computer charger. It's like, oh, it's in my bag in the other room. But again, then I get up, I go in the other room, and then I'm playing with the dog and giving treats. And when you only have 1 hour to do it, I don't have 7 minutes to leave the room. Okay. What distractions will you remove? They call it sweeping for minds, right? Do you need to move your cell phone somewhere else? Do you need to move your computer somewhere else? I used to not be able to have my computer with me when I was lead generating. So I would have to write down the 5 or 6 people that I was going to call, because if I got on my computer, I ended up in email or on Facebook or any of these things, right? What distractions do you have to remove, and who's going to help you? So we're heading into summer. How many of you guys have kids? Okay. Summer. It means we get our children back full time, right? And don't get me wrong, I love my kid, and parenting and having a job is a lot. So I have a sign on my office door that says mommy's working, or you can come in. And if it says mommy's working, Lucy will ask Alexa, how much longer is mommy working? Because I will always set a timer, and she will know when I'm free. And unless the house is on fire or someone has broken in, this is not the 1 hour that you get to bother me. And if you think I was going to say no to whatever question you were going to ask, the answer was probably no. You can't have sugar and you can't have more screens, right? So it's like, it's one of those things of, but she knows that that's what provides for our family. And so she gets it and is able to help. My husband's the same way. Oh, mom's in her office. I don't close my office door very often. Oh, the office door's closed. Leave mom alone. You have to get buy-in and support from other people. The other support that is helpful is who's going to give you the high five after you did it. I need that high five. I need that good job. Way to get that done today. So who's going to give that to you? Is it that when you're done with this, you get to do this? When you're done with this, you get that? What's your reward for finishing what you needed to do? Okay. Does that change your thinking at all on lead generation?
I had a friend tell me when I was first looking at Keller Williams that it's very much a define your relationship, like use your current relationships and build on that. It wasn't like cold calling. I mean, maybe there's some of that, but it was really, what are you doing in your community? Like the list that we went through, who do you already know that you can not monopolize, but like work through that?
You get to decide. There are people who love cold calling. I hate talking to strangers. I hate talking to strangers. It literally makes me want to vomit when people door knock, and I'm like, oh my God, how did you go do that? But I will tell you this, treat your business the way you want to be treated, and you will find people like you. Do not knock on my door. When I get home at the end of the day and I come in my home, this is my castle. This is my home. I do not want to spend 2 minutes of it talking to some dude at the door. Okay. But people who like to door knock, they love opening the door and seeing who's on the other side. If you ask them, they're like, ooh, when someone comes up to my house, I'm like, yeah, I want to hear what they have to sell. I'm like, and that's why you're good at door knocking.
Well, this made me feel very comfortable in how I'm approaching building my business, because you just kind of reconfirmed all that in this today.
Yay. What else? Where else are, we're going to finish really early. But what other things would be helpful to think about? Like, do you guys have next steps for lead generation? Because if I was to recap what I said, I would go through and I would make the list. I would make the list of people that were not in your database from that page 9 of different people that you could add. And then I would put them in order of 1 through 100. And I would start at 1 because they're going to be the easiest to talk to and the most fun. And I would set whatever your goal is. You guys can find an event to invite people to in June. You can invite them to join you at the farmer's market if you have a local farmer's market one Saturday, right? Like, hey, the Lake Oswego Farmer's Market's back open again. We're going to go next Saturday. Would love to see you there. We go from 9 to 11. Text me when you get there. right? And it's like, okay. I just promoted something in my community. And told people I'd love to see their face. I'm not buying them anything. I'm not doing anything. And I'm not even going out of my way. I'll be there with my kid anyway. So if any of you live in Portland, I'm at the farmer's market, usually from 9 to 11 on Saturdays.
Yeah, I do have a question. So I do have some like friends that I know they have like they are CPA and they have some business where they do have a lot of clients. I just don't know how to find a way to have them refer me to their clients.
You ask.
Ask directly.
You ask. You say, like, it's not, you don't just ask, but like you have a conversation and be like, so I'm kind of excited that I think were you the one who was investing? Is this
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you were the investor. I've been investing in real estate for a long time. I'm excited to help other people do that. If you ever hear of someone who needs real estate help, would you send them my way? It's that easy. Do not make it more complicated.
Okay. And it's also, it just happened they are my friends and we like hang
Yeah.
out occasionally. Not close
Yeah.
friend, but
If you ever hear of someone, like, tell them you're open for business. Tell them you would accept people, because until you tell them that, they don't know.
I see.
Like, they may or may never send you somebody.
Mhm.
But the other thing you can do with financial planners, so we last year did an event called Wills and Wine, and my attorney came and did a presentation on why we should all have estates. We had 20 people in the room. 13 of them hired him to write their estates, including my husband and I. And he has since sent me 3 referrals. So it's like I scratched his back and he scratched mine. I'm meeting with one of them at 5:30 tonight. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is you have to ask for business. You can't be a secret agent. You have to, the worst they're going to do is be like, oh, we already have a real estate agent we use. Right. And then the worst thing you're going to say is, well, if you ever need a second, or if anything doesn't work out with that, please keep me in mind. Period.
Yeah.
Don't make it complicated. It's when we make it complicated, or we think we need to do some huge presentation or have 10 reasons why, like, they're not interested.
I guess I'm just like, I'm just shy. Like they might think like, I thought we're friends. Like, are you using me as like, I as you're saying, I probably make it too complicated.
You're making it too complicated. I
Okay.
think you need to say to them, I'm excited about getting to share what I've been doing for years with other people. Again, it's about their people, right? It's not about you. So when you make it about their people by saying, I'm excited to share what I've been doing for years with real estate. If
Mhm.
you know anyone that could be helpful for,
Mhm.
send them my way.
And you're not allowed to give them, I mean, money obviously, but like gift, is that okay?
I mean, yes and no. The answer is no.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you that my lawyer gets cookies for his whole office on occasion because I appreciate him.
What about the other referrals? Like, do you give them?
I send crumble cookies for every one of my referrals.
Oh.
I send hot crumble cookies. They show up at your doorstep about 20 minutes after your person calls me.
Wow. I see. Okay.
They're pretty cheap. It's like $24 for.
Yeah. And does the job.
People are like, hot cookies, no way. So. Okay. What else?
Advertising question?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that I'm not only just your neighbor real estate agent. I'm trying to design a flyer. I saw that online as well. And they all had pictures. So when you mentioned that years ago, you always had to have your picture. Do you think your advertising goes further with your picture on it?
I do think that advertising goes further. people wanna, it's different than a business card. A business card is like, hey, look at me. Something that comes in the mail that you didn't hand them, they're like, oh, who sent this? So I do think that that matters. Hold on, sorry, getting a phone call. I do think that matters. Do you guys have headshots?
I don't,
Are
not
any,
yet.
are any of you guys in Portland?
Yes, I am.
I don't know where else a company called Shoot is located. SHOTT. SHOTT. They're a super inexpensive photography thing, and I get my headshots redone all the time because I want them. Because I like them seasonally. I do think it's worth it. I think that you can even have someone take one on your cell phone and you can eventually end up with a good quality photo. And I don't think it has to be something serious or professional, but please don't put your dog with you. Sorry, I have a dog that I love dearly, but please don't put it in your marketing unless that is your marketing, unless that's really what you're going for. I would also tell you guys, use things like Canva. Has anyone talked to you guys about Canva? Use Canva. It's great for your flyers. You can design postcards. You can mail postcards from there. Use things like Etsy. You can buy pre-made templates so that you don't have to figure it all out. I feel like we get stuck designing a postcard for 3 days. And you can spend $5 on Etsy and someone's already made it, and you just drop your stuff into the boxes.
I used the Michael Lewis marketing
Oh,
thing
yeah.
through
about that.
KDP, and it kind of just built my business card for me, so that was nice.
And it does postcards too and stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole it's like note cards,
Yes.
brochures, postcards, flyers, hangers, the whole nine. I still have it up on my computer because I just got my cards just got shipped. So
Yay! That's exciting when you get your business card.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of resources. You can ask at the office, all of that, but you have to do something. Do we feel like we have a couple of things we can do?
Definitely.
Can I ask you guys? Can I ask? Let me share it. Yes. If you don't mind, before you go, would you scan this QR code and do an evaluation? Because I need 15 more of these to finish my certification. So you're going to scan the QR code and then scan the QR code. You guys are in Northwest region. And then the next one should be is the next one instructor name or is the next one class?
I don't see the Northwest region.
Keep scrolling.
Northwest.
The next one's
right over it.
class.
The next one is class. So you're going to look for Ignite section 5.
Sorry, can you go back? What's the
Northwest region.
it?
Northwest region should be the top. They're all in alphabetical order. You got to scroll down to the end. Course name would be Ignite 5. I appreciate you guys. When it comes to instructor, you have to go to the very bottom because I am not an instructor yet. Go to the very bottom and it will say instructor name not in dropdown. And then if you could type Jen Singer would be awesome. And then you can do the rest on your own. I really appreciate you guys. I feel like we finished early, but I don't know what else I can answer for you.
This is the longest one so far, so don't feel bad.
It is?
Yeah, most of them get done in like an hour.
Oh, okay, then I don't feel so bad. Well, I hope the extra half hour was worth it. I appreciate those of you that took the time to fill out an evaluation. It's really really awesome for me. What, anything else I can answer?
I would love to ask a question privately, not about real estate, about the schools. Yeah. If that's
About schools?
yeah, later.
Okay. Sure. Or you can shoot me an email. I can put my email in the chat too.
Okay.
It's Jen at soldbyjen.net. Yeah, you guys are welcome. Jen Singer, JenSinger, Jen Singer. And I appreciate that. Yeah, that is all. That's all I've got, unless somebody else has more questions.
Did you say your Facebook page was like, if we found you on there, we could see what you were talking about for your different posts?
Yeah. So my Facebook, I should probably know this. Again, my name's Jen Singer. It's a picture of my daughter and my dog. I'll do that on my personal. I don't do that on my business. My Facebook business is living. Oh, actually, it's Sold by Jen Inc. is facebook.com, Sold by Jen Inc. Let's see, it will be posted last. Oh, yesterday. Okay. Yeah, so my business page and my home page look very different. I make really quirky social media posts, so you'll have fun watching them because they're kind of funny. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now you have me scrolling at my own Facebook because our posts crack me up. If you want to see a good one, you should go back to April 19th. It's a funny Facebook post. How we film tours. All right. Anything else I can answer for people? Let me see if there's anything that was still in here. Alexander, are you still on here? Alexander disappeared because he asked about Zillow. I think he's gone. Okay. He asked about Zillow, but I didn't get to that one. Sorry. All right. Well, if you guys have nothing else, I don't either. You guys are welcome to shoot me an email and reach out if there's something I can do to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.